This is a pretty crazy fact. I asked ChatGPT why women file divorce at such a higher rate than men, and it said unmet emotional needs, unequal household and emotional labor, more financial independence, and women tend to have higher expectations in a relationship.
I am going to get so much hate for saying this, but I don't care. Someone has to say it. I know all of you married women that are miserable are thinking it, and you're afraid to speak it. No one talks about the brutal reality that the widow fantasy is real. Maybe you don't believe in divorce. You don't want to go through divorce. You don't want to put your family through that and your kids, but you do want the marriage to end. Don't lie to me and tell me you don't. You feel trapped. You cannot imagine going on another day like this. And so you play the widow fantasy over and over in your mind. And let's be honest, you would be a great widow. Because the truth is that divorce is messy and divorce is painful and there's just loose ends everywhere. But when someone dies, we can all understand that. We all know that we're all going to die. So we could just put a little bow on that. We could just wrap that life right up. And in a lot of ways, it's easier. It's easier. People will say that it would have been easier if he had died. Depending on what you're facing after the divorce and how nasty things can get, yes, sometimes someone dying is easier. It's an easier way out. And when you're in that much pain and when you are so lonely and so miserable, you're looking for ease. I don't blame you. I'm not saying you're going to kill the guy, but I understand the fantasy. And it doesn't mean you want something horrible and atrocious to happen to the man. You're just hoping he has the big one in the middle of the night. All I'm saying is the widow fantasy is alive and well. And if you're thinking it, there's nothing wrong with you. It's normal. And if you're saying it's not, you're lying.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
Did you all hear the insanity in that message? If you're that miserable, chances are that man is too. Why don't you take your own advice and leave first, so it's easier for him? Every day, these radical feminist women spread this kind of hateful message, because that is a message of hate. In most divorces, there's resentment on both sides. That's true. But there's a big difference between being angry in the moment and wishing death on your spouse. Even if he cheated on you, you can't go that far. That person probably gave you beautiful children, a life, experiences, and even if it all ended badly or you felt miserable, it's not always the other person's fault. A lot of the time, it comes from an emptiness inside the woman. You'll never see men spreading messages like that, because what these women really want is to take everything the man worked for, without going through a divorce where they might lose what they never earned. And the worst part isn't even that they want to take everything. It's that they just want to erase him from the map. The saddest thing is seeing the comments supporting that madness. Women saying, "That's exactly what I'm praying for. God protect men."
Our divorce rate was over 100%. Probably still is. Guys get divorced 2 and 3 times.
In the military?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. Do you want to be gone? You want your husband to be gone for 6 months at a time? Come home and gone 250 days out of a year? Now try to raise a kid like that. That sucks. It just does. Nobody wants that. But because they didn't grow up in it, they never got to see it. Like, oh, my husband's in the 82nd Airborne. And you're really going to hate life now. Deployments increased. Now they're 9, 10, 12-month deployments, 14-month rotations. Like, people aren't designed to withstand that. At the end of the day, people forget that guy over there who's getting divorced a million miles away in Helmand Province. That's a normal guy. That's a normal guy with 2 little kids who has no Wi-Fi, who has no way to call back. And he's basically getting updates from his mother that she's filed for divorce and she's already sold the house and he can't do anything about it. Like, he still has to fight these people every single day. It's a lot for people to try to compartmentalize. I feel like a lot of people lose sight of that. Stress is stress, trauma is trauma. Everybody's going through something. Like, now you add them overseas, you add in distance. It only gets worse. Only gets worse. And nobody talks about it. Because it's happening to you. I don't want it to happen to me. I don't want my wife over there talking to your wife. So that's what a lot of it is. We start to separate and then people feel alienated. They feel like they're alone. And it just, now that I'll say male mental health really starts to dive down the drain. Because we used to, you had that tribe mentality, you had that pack mentality where, you know, we draw strength in numbers. And now all of a sudden, where did everybody go? They've all left. It's like, oh God, now I am on an island alone. It's a very scary place to be, especially when you've done nothing but team sports your whole life, or in that profession, everything is done in a team. Very rarely are you ever alone. Now you are. Oof, talk about a culture shock.
And at your lowest moment as well, like when you're really struggling.
And you think people would reach out. You think that, and now I do. I didn't when I was in.
It makes sense though, like when it comes down to your survival, but at the same time, it's just so cutthroat. Like it's just, yeah, so sharp, yeah.
It is very cutthroat.
That's why I have so much respect for military men and veterans. Because what they put on the line isn't just their life. It's their family, their stability, their mind. Many come back with their bodies intact, but with their souls shattered. And the hardest part isn't the war. It's coming home and not finding what they left behind. I don't blame the women, but the reality is that very few homes can withstand such a long absence. 250 days away feels like an eternity. By the time they return, nothing is the same. She's changed. He's changed. The distance has changed everything. It's impossible to go through that and remain the same person. And even then, many of them keep going. They keep serving. They keep carrying a weight the world doesn't see. That's why I respect the wives who stay, who wait, who hold the home together without giving up. And I respect even more the men out there, giving their lives without any promise of reward. They represent something that's almost gone: honor, duty, and true sacrifice.
Okay, so I wanted to reply to a comment that a woman left on my page about me leaving my relationship after 10 years now. And she basically was just asking me, like, have I even dated outside of him? And I've already, he won't marry me because I've already given him everything. I just want to let y'all know, I hold myself 100% accountable. I did this to myself. I completely allowed someone to be in my space, to use me for 10 years. Willingly at this point. So I 100% hold myself accountable. No, I've never really dated outside of him. I've had a relationship when I was as a teen, if that accounts for anything, but that doesn't matter. But no, it's just been us. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, I definitely, I hold myself accountable, and I think that's what this is just for. Like, I'm learning me. Like, it's only been 5 hours. I'm new to this. I'm new. Like, I'm not trying to date or anything right now. I got a lot of work to do. Yeah. I made me some homemade french fries. I'm watching Edward Scissorhands. Whoop-de-doo. A lot of players fuck up.
At least they admit it. A lot of women leave a good man and never take responsibility. The worst part is, they don't leave him for someone better. They leave him for someone who just uses them. The guy they're with now isn't going to marry them, and they know it. And still, they let him in. Instead of fixing their marriage, they destroy it. They don't put in the effort to repair it. They'd rather bring in a third person who ends up ruining everything. I just hope that man is in a better place today.
Women.
I didn't realize how lonely my marriage had become until a random Thursday night. I remember this moment. So we had spent lots of time apart. He was a long-haul airline pilot and was often gone for half the month or more. So I spent lots of time alone, and we spent lots of time apart. That was not new. But that moment of sheer and utter loneliness was on a random Tuesday night, Thursday night, and I was sitting in the living room, probably staring at my phone at the time. Maybe I was watching a movie, and he was in our bedroom, stuck to his iPad. I had made so many attempts and what psychologists call bids for connection. So did he want to watch a movie together? Did he want to play a game together? Did he want to, sit and do crosswords, drink tea with me, anything? And the answer was always no. Did he want to go for a kayak? Did he want to go to the gym? Did he want to go do a yoga class? And the answer was always no. But you go ahead. And that random night, when I sat back and replayed all of those nights where I was rejected and told no when I was desperate to try and connect and spend time with him, I realized that I was lonelier inside of a marriage than I was ever going to be on my own. And it was that moment that gave me some really great clarity about what my next steps needed to be. Has anybody else ever experienced that loneliness within a marriage, relationship? It's the worst.
I think that man already had someone else. The life of a pilot is complicated, but it's also one of the professions where cheating happens the most. You live on the road, far from home, surrounded by temptations, with free time in all the wrong places. And when you come back, all you want is silence. That woman was still trying to save what was left of the marriage. She wanted to share something, do things together, reconnect. But when a man has already disconnected emotionally, no therapy is going to bring him back. That house was no longer a home. It was a hotel where he slept, and she waited. As men, we don't like to admit it, but sometimes love fades. Not because there's no affection, but because distance becomes the norm. And when that happens, there's no turning back. The most honest thing at that point is to accept that the love is gone.
Okay, so when my husband left me, well, technically I left him because I found out that he was having an affair with a married woman that he works with. She also has 2 children, 2 young kids. And ever since I started finding out everything that he was doing, I mean, it was like one whole weekend where, like, Thursday through Sunday, where I found out each day new things. And every piece of evidence that I found, he tried to deny it until it got too much for him. And then also when I messaged the husband, I don't know. From what I know, from what I'm gathering, this affair started in December, but he won't actually tell me the whole truth. So I've learned a lot about this, like, anxious attachment and this, like, avoidant person. I don't know this person, and to be honest, this person would never be in my circle, or I would never, ever have them around me or anyone else that I love if I knew that they were capable of the things that he's done. I am an anxious attachment person. I want to fix problems when they arise because, you know, I love them, and I've learned that he is the avoidant, because the minute that I found all of these, he just avoided it. He disregarded it. He ignored me about details. And then when it was just too much for him, he spiraled so much where I felt scared for him and his mental health. I was like, I don't even know what this man is capable of doing. And I was way nicer to him than I thought that I should have. And then he didn't come out of this spiral, and he just kept saying, I'm numb, I have no feelings. I don't know details. I was drinking too much. I was blah, blah, blah. It's been 2.5 months, and I'm nowhere even closer to finding real information out, what real truth is. I have no idea how he feels about me. I have no idea how he feels about our 14 years of life. I was with him my whole adult, young adult life. I'm 37 now. We didn't want to have children before, but, like, what if I would have met someone who did want to have children? I'm 37 now, so that means that it could be late, or it may not be late. I just feel like I wasted so much time. So, to the people who are avoidant personalities, and I know that you're probably not even going to watch this because that's what you do, please understand the damage that you do to the people who love you and care about you and who have been here for you in every single good and bad of your however long you've been with this person. Their sacrifices the love for you. It may not have been a good time when it got really bad, but there's always ways of deciding to fix something, to fix a relationship. I can speak for my own relationship when I say that, like, we didn't have everything. We didn't do everything yet. There was things we could have done to fix the issues that we were having communication-wise. But he decided to jump ship with the first woman who ever gave him attention. So sad. It's so fucking sad. You cheaters are so fucking sad and desperate. Like, so insecure that you have to leech on to people who are give you any sort of attention when you actually likely, I mean, I know in my situation, my husband had someone who was sitting there begging to have to spend time together, to go on a vacation. I was literally asking him to go on a vacation. We were planning it when I found out everything. So the damage that has done with me, like, I've never been on medicine before, but now I'm on Prozac. Thank God for it. Thank God for it. It's fucking life changing. Prozac, Xanax, and I've been prescribed some sort of sleep medicine because I have nightmares and dreams all the time. So about.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
I will never support cheating because cheating destroys a person psychologically. In my opinion, what happened with this man, who spent 14 years with this woman, is that at some point, he wanted to be a father. Yeah, because leaving a woman to be with a single mother is a clear sign he longed to have kids. A woman, once she reaches 30, should prioritize having children, even if it's just for herself. This woman is 37 and having a breakdown. The pain is driving her to medicate herself just to stay sane. Of course she's scared. 14 years with someone, only to end up alone at 37, without kids, without direction, and who knows when she'll heal or if she'll ever get another chance. The family train has already passed. Damn, brothers, this is pretty rough. You've got to have a bit of empathy, but let's keep going.
His affair, about our life together, about the future that we were planning and the plans that we had, and I have no explanation. I have no reasoning for anything still to this day because he avoids it. He's ignored me. He's every phone call, every text message. I was literally at the house, at the apartment, getting my things from our life together. And he didn't even look at me. He wouldn't even look at me in the eyes. He wouldn't say anything to me. I felt disposable. People like you, people like avoidant personalities, you should understand that you should never be able to have the capacity to treat someone like this, to affect someone like this. So we have to move on with our lives with no real explanation, no understanding as to what the hell, you just lost your shit and then left. He's lied to everyone, lied to his parents, saying he's not seeing this woman. When I already know that, like, the reason why he's still seeing this woman is literally because she's the only person that is telling him what he's doing is okay. Like, she is also, she's actually worse. She's actually a worse person because she just got married 3 months ago, 3 months basically before this all started, and she has 2 young children at home. Like, she's literally choosing to not hang out with her family and be around her family, watching them grow up, because she's spending time with my husband, mine. So they're both the same. They're both terrible fucking people, right? They're literally telling each other it is okay. They have created this little safe zone of deceit and lying. And they're okay with spending that time together. And so if that's how it is, fine, you can spend your time with this person. But this is not the person that I know. My person was so kind, and I actually feel like the person that I know is actually like tied up somewhere, and like he's yelling out for help because this is a crazy person who has taken over his body. It's literally insane. I feel like the person that I love and I know is just gone. He's dead. But he's actually walking around. You know, his body is walking around. So it's like a fucking mindfuck because you're just asking for explanations and answers as to what the hell happened. And I'm talking for the anxious attachment people. The people who are confused and they don't even know what the hell happened. We have to somehow move from this. And there are days that I'm angry and I feel violent. And then there's days that I feel so confident about my future without this person. But, and then there's days that I'm sad and I miss the person that I do know. Because I know that he was so good and he was so kind. So, I really just hope that if you are the avoidant personality, the person who is just avoiding all things because it's hard, just know that, like, the damage that you're doing to someone else is probably harder than just sucking it up and being a man. Or I just hope that you stop treating people like this, that you think that you can decide how someone else will handle the rest of their life, because you have changed them. You have changed them. So, because it's not fair. It's not fair that we have to go through this heartache. It's been 2.5 months and I literally don't feel like I've gotten anywhere. Some days, and some days of course I do, but some days really suck. Just some moments really, really suck. I feel unloved. And I know that's not true because I have a really amazing village, but when you know that the one person who is supposed to hold you at the highest is treating you like trash, I don't wish this upon anyone. I don't wish this feeling on anyone.
On anyone. But it's clear that man was looking for a family. He left with a single mother because he needed to feel something his relationship no longer gave him, the desire to be a father. That's why I say women should prioritize having children, because when time passes and the clock runs out, if she had a child, she wouldn't be in this state, on the edge of a breakdown. What I'd tell her is to let her feelings come out, to stop taking antidepressants, to really feel that pain, because it will eventually pass. A lot of men go through the same thing. Her situation is sad, but that man doesn't love her anymore. She still loves her husband, and if he came back, she'd probably forgive him, but he doesn't want her. That's just the truth. Me, like I always say, I'll never support a cheater, because infidelity destroys the people who trusted you with their love. I'll always be in favor of leaving someone the right way without destroying them. But what do you think about this woman's situation?
Question for all of these single moms of boys. Do you ever feel like you're failing as a parent because you've yet to find somebody to be a father figure in your children's lives? Or is that just me? Because my husband passed away when I was 3 months pregnant with my youngest son, who is now 5. And I have yet to find somebody to be that for my boys. My dad passed away when I was 11, and my husband's dad passed away last year. So my kids literally don't have that steady father figure in their lives. And I feel like as a mom, I'm failing them. You hear about statistics of single moms with boys. And it just weighs so heavy on my chest. Because I see how they grasp onto that male figure in my uncles and my male cousins. And I know that they want that in this household. And I feel like I can't. My picker's broken. And it just sucks. It sucks. Dating in your 30s as a single mom sucks. That's all I got.
I'm going to stick up for this woman and say that men could give her a chance. This isn't a woman who walked out on her marriage or had a child with some irresponsible Chad. She's a woman who had the misfortune of losing her husband and became a widow. I think any single father, a man in his 30s or 35, could give her a chance. She might actually make a good wife, because she already was one if she stayed by her husband's side until he passed. Of course, I'm assuming he died of an illness. But single mothers should be dating single fathers. There are plenty of good men out there who just had the bad luck of ending up with the wrong woman and became single dads. Like I said, I don't see anything wrong with giving a widow a chance.
You know what a real struggle is when you are single is when you are either sick or you have a medical appointment that you need some help with, or you've got a medical emergency, or maybe you just had the head cold or the flu at home and you have no one to take care of you. I'm Beth. I am on a self-love journey. I'm embracing my single life. I am 35. I would love to be married and have a family, but I also am not trying to wait for someone to come complete me. So I'm trying to enjoy my life as it is, but I am having a hard time sometimes when it comes to being by myself when I need help with something. I recently found out that I actually have to have surgery on my hip. I'm having some hip pain. I've had it for about a year now. I danced when I was younger, so it was probably inevitable, but amount of planning that I'm having to do right now to prepare for the surgery is exhausting. I'm fortunate enough that I have family that's in town. I will be staying with my parents, and because it's about a 3-week recovery where I will not be able to walk on my leg at all. But I have a dog, and my dog is very jumpy. So my best friend is actually going to watch my dog for the first week, which I'm very grateful for. And then I've got friends that are saying they are going to do potentially like a meal train, and that's fantastic. But I had to call every single person and ask for help. Of course, my family will drop everything to help me, but not everybody has a family like that. Not everybody lives near people where they can have help. Not everyone maybe has as close as friends. And so when you're single and you do not have a dedicated partner to help you, it's 3 times as hard. And it's mentally exhausting because you're having to make all the decisions. And I know it's not just single people. I know people who are married also need help as well because you've got family, you've got kids, and you also need help. But I just kind of want to throw it out there that people who are single, it's an extra kind of hurdle that we have to get over because mentally I'm also dealing with the fact that I'm single. So no one wants to be with me. So therefore no one wants to take care of me. So I'm a burden. There's a lot of things going on in my brain. So single friends, I feel you. I'm with you. I understand your pain. So let me know if you've experienced this as well.
A lot of women were sold the idea that being single meant freedom, that being independent, traveling, and living life was the path to happiness. But reality hits after 30, when the party's over and they realize that having a partner isn't just about romance. It's about structure, support, and meaning. A man in the home doesn't just help with expenses, he brings purpose. He's the one who brings balance, who calms the mind when life gets heavy. The women who built a home early, who chose stability, now live with less anxiety and more direction. What used to be called submission turned out to be true peace. That's why you almost never see a happily married woman talking about feminism. A woman who loves her husband isn't looking for a fight. She's looking for peace. This woman is lucky to have her parents close, because without them, she'd be lost. And no matter how many narratives they try to sell, the truth doesn't change. A man is still essential. The wall makes sure to remind them, one by one.
Y'all, I'm sitting in my car because I found out some crazy fucking shit. And I went back in my mind and I figured this shit out. Not completely, but y'all, I think the man that I had a child with, I think he's gotta be like some sort of fucking predator and his brother are up to some shit together. I'm going back and I'm seeing everything The whole time I was dumb and I was naive and I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. And now I'm scared because I think I fucked up. I think I fucked up big time. And I have a child with this man and I don't know what to do. I know it's not okay. This isn't good. I don't even know how to explain it with it making sense to anyone. And I knew it when I first saw him, something was off, but I ignored that feeling because when I first met him in person, because we met online, I met him and I was walking towards the bathroom because he was in the Target bathroom. We were meeting at Target. And he walked out of the bathroom. I was typing on my phone, texting him. And he said, "Hey, you." And I looked up. And as soon as I looked up at him, I felt something hit me in the chest. And it felt like something like knocked.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Brothers, responsibility is kryptonite to women. For a woman, having a child isn't like going to the store and picking something off a shelf. You had to date the guy, you had to open the door to your life and let him in, and most importantly, you had to sleep with him. Where's your responsibility in all that? You knew, but you ignored it. You did it because you were into that man, because he was a Chad you wanted to sleep with. You got pregnant because you didn't take precautions. Now you're realizing the guy's a predator. And let's pause here, because we don't really know why she's calling him that or what exactly he did. But one thing we do know, she met him online and had his kid. That doesn't happen overnight. So let's not pretend you were all that Christian. Let's keep going.
And we would FaceTime every day. And I remember one time when he sent me pictures of himself and we were talking about what each other looked like. I clearly, vividly remember this picture of him he was laying on the floor, his arm was up like this. And he had like a perm, and he had a stud in his nose. And I remember I was swiping through the pictures he sent me, and I looked at that picture, and I was like, I don't remember seeing him on FaceTime having a stud in his nose, nor do any of these other pictures, nor does he have curly hair. And I was like, that's weird. I was like, maybe that, and he also looked like more buff at the time, and I was like, maybe that's just like an older picture. And, he doesn't have perm anymore, and he doesn't have a nose ring, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm getting on a whole nother thing. And now I found out that the brother that I gave him Bibles for is the man in the picture that he sent me that he looks like. So the whole time, they was sending me pictures of what he looked like. Some of them was of himself, and then half of them was of his brother. Because they look identical other than the nose ring and the hair. Hunter has straight hair, no nose ring, and he's skinnier. While his brother's name is Trenton, which I just found out from this lady that sent me his profile through TikTok, has a perm and has a nose ring. And I remember he asked me to bring him Bibles, so I brought Hunter Bibles when I saw him. Hunter took a picture of the Bibles when we got in his car, sent them to his brother. And I remember his brother and him FaceTime for a second while I was sitting in the passenger seat. I don't remember what I was doing, but I remember they were talking for a little bit. I don't even know what they were saying. I don't know. I wasn't paying full attention because I was minding my own business in the passenger seat. And I got a glimpse of his brother, and he had blonde hair. I didn't think anything of it. But after I just looked at the Facebook profile of his brother has blonde hair. And the pictures that he sent me was his brother, and I can confirm that 100%. And it's making me look back. And I know that Hunter never told me that he had any other siblings. Didn't talk about anyone else in his family other than his brother. And I think him and his brother are up to some weird shit. And they're in on it together. And I think I'm like panicking right now because I'm looking back and I'm seeing how how this is so fucked. I think he took those Bibles as like a trophy, as another one that he got. Because I know he did this with another girl and has a kid with another girl. And she lives in like Kentucky or something like that. And he like does this with online and meets women.
So the church girl let Chad open her Bible. This story doesn't add up. How do you FaceTime with a guy every day, get his pictures, talk to him constantly, and then claim you confused him with his identical brother? You didn't recognize him when you were sleeping with him, but suddenly you do now that everything went wrong. And now he's supposedly a predator? No, he's just a womanizer, and you fell for him because you wanted to. He did what every Chad does. Use charm and looks to reel in women who say they want a good man, but deep down melt for the ones who are no good. And now she plays the victim, like her faith makes her innocent. If you were really Christian, when did you give him the Bible? When did he go with you to church? When did you show up together as a couple? Looks more like you were preaching with your body, not with the word. You know what I'm saying, brothers? But let's keep going.
Women.
And I know his brother's involved in it. He told me that he was living with his brother when I got in contact with him recently because I told him about his daughter. I didn't know all this was going on. If you haven't followed with my story, it probably doesn't make sense to you. I need to probably make a whole new video on that because now I'm looking at this whole entire thing completely different. And now I'm realizing that my parents were protecting me from him because he's crazy. He's fucking crazy. I don't know if they're in some like trafficking thing or what, but they're young. I don't know. They're up to something that's not good. Hunter gave me a fake address and location that he was living at with his brother, and I just found his real one that him and his brother are actually living at. This whole time he's been lying about everything, and he still lies about everything. I don't know. I think and I fucked up because I filed for child support and everything. And he knows about his daughter. And I'm scared because I think this whole thing was a game. I think he's sick. I think he's satanic or some shit. And I got trapped or something. I don't know. Or what was going to be. And I know something doesn't add up because it's not. And I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, I need a minute.
The guy uses dating apps to sleep with women. Just like you slept with him, so do others. He's a womanizer, not a predator. Remember, fellas, only the top 20% of men succeed on dating apps. That means the best looking or the ones with money. If she slept with him more than once and ended up pregnant, he clearly wasn't unattractive. So let's cut the nonsense about I didn't know or I was lost, because you don't get pregnant without intimacy. After sleeping with him, what? Did you get amnesia? Like I said, responsibility is kryptonite for women. While she was dating Chad, she had blinders on. When her father told her the guy wasn't right for her, it's because they saw what he was, too, but she still loved her man. Now she's a single mom. Now he's suddenly a predator. Now she finds out he has another daughter, that he's messed up after he's long gone. He didn't even know about the kid he had with her. I can already picture the parents raising Chad's child because the Christian girl was out there preaching the word. You really can't make this crap up.
Good morning, single people. The hardest part about being in dating culture is, without question, aging toward the end of your fertility and not being able to find a partner. Yes, people can have babies on their own, but that's a very different desire than wanting to have a baby with a romantic partner. And before you tell somebody, oh, just do it by yourself, remember how many people never had to. Remember how many people were just able to find partners and build families. And then remember how many people want those same things and can't find them because dating culture is a fucking dumpster fire. So I have a lot of empathy and hold a lot of space for those people because I understand how hard dating is. I cannot also imagine wanting a baby and getting older toward the end of your fertility and not being able to find someone to do that with. That is so fucking hard. It's also terrifying and there's so much grief involved in it. There are a lot of layered emotions around this. Once a week, I write an advice column, and this week's was really hard to write, and it's probably really hard to read. Somebody wrote to me and said, I'm 42, I'm single, I can't find a partner, and I want a baby, and I don't want to do it alone. How do I cope with this? So I answered them. My advice column is called Hey Shani. It is exactly where you think it is. If you are somebody who wants a romantic partner and wants a baby and doesn't want to have that baby alone, you are seen and heard, and I want you to know that. This should be easier. This never should have been this hard.
I have to say, It's a bit sad to see a woman say this. To see so many women who could have been mothers, who could have had a family, and who end up running into the wall over and over again. And as we know, the wall doesn't forgive. In this country, there are plenty of single men who could easily start a family with a woman like that, but they choose to ignore the average guy to chase the so-called top 20%. When they're told, raise your standards, date someone who makes X, you don't need a man, that message doesn't just affect them, it affects all of us. The man who could have been a partner hears that and thinks, why even try if I'm being disqualified from the start? This has led to a mass withdrawal of men from the dating market. And the result is clear: more single women and fewer families.
You guys, I just can't find a single man that I like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just keep going on these dates and I find myself getting bored. I'm bored on these dates. It's draining. I feel like I have to make the conversation. I have to really make things flow. They're not flowing naturally. And then dating gets draining and it's just a circle. It's a circle. You know what I mean? Where I just don't know. I think it's the apps, because here's the other thing. People are like, oh my God, you go on so many dates. They're app dates. They don't count. Because in real life, if you're meeting people and then you're saying yes to dates, you already have an idea, because you've met them in person, if you're interested or not. So already you're light years ahead, okay, of somebody going on a dating app date where you're judging it off of what photos and a few prompts and maybe a little conversation via text. No, it doesn't count. So now in this day and age, when you're like, oh my God, why are all these people going on all these dating app dates? Because we don't know these people. They're strangers. They're strangers. This isn't like a date that a guy asked me on that I knew in real life and already had a little bit of a crush on. Okay, that's why people have more luck when they actually date in real life. The problem is everyone's antisocial these days. No one's meeting in person. So if no one's meeting in person, everyone's meeting online. We're all just going on 1,000 dates and not meeting a single person we like. Or at least I'm not meeting a single person I like. And maybe, you could be like, Renee, you're the problem. Maybe I am. Maybe I am, but I still want to date a man I like. I'm so sorry.
You know where the frustration comes from? Women have been terrible at making decisions their whole lives because they tend to make them based on emotion. That's why, when they use dating apps, they focus more on physical attraction than emotional connection. And that's why they can't connect with anyone. Also, remember this: the algorithm analyzes your interests and your level of attractiveness, and it matches you with people on your level. Since many women believe they're at 10, they end up being paired with men they see as less attractive than they think they deserve. And that's when the anger hits. But the truth is, they're average. Another thing, in real life, you have more chances to get to know someone, more time, more interaction. But on apps, everything is fast and superficial. If there's no spark on the first date, it ends right there. That's where the frustration comes from. That's why they say, I don't like anyone. But don't worry, the wall will keep you company, because the wall doesn't forgive.
I'm just going to say it outright. Dating in Miami is not for the weak. Dating in Miami is not for the lover girls, and dating in Miami is not for the women who want anything serious out of life. I'm a firm believer in what you seek out, you shall find, and also what you speak and what you say, especially if it's negative, will come to fruition. However, I just need to rant right now, guys. Believe me when I say the only thing that I want out of life is to love and to be loved. I want a family, I want a home, I want children. I want a husband who's my best friend and we build a beautiful life together and make decisions together and just build something incredible with. I want to be taken care of. I want a marriage that my parents didn't have. My parents got divorced and all I want is to just be loved and have a beautiful marriage. I still believe in marriage and I still believe in love despite what I was raised with. That's all I want out of life, right? Everything that I just said does not exist in Miami. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't exist. Or it exists, but it exists with conditions, because the amount of men that I've met that are actively married and cheating on their wives is appalling and disgusting here. Not only that, the amount of love bombers here are scary. Every single time that I get involved with a guy and get love bombed, I always get my hopes up and always get disappointed. And I would like to think I'm a cautious person. I exercise caution when dating, but I just feel every single time it's a constant cycle of love bombing, then gaslighting, and then just leaving. And they disappoint you every single time. And I'm so sick of it. And I'm trying not to get emotional because it's just really fucking hard. I just feel I'm in this constant cycle of letting my guard down and then getting disappointed later. Genuinely, all I want is respect, communication, consistency, loyalty. All I want. And then I just feel I keep getting involved with these men who are promising me the world. I let my guard down a little only to get disappointed and begging for the bare minimum, and somehow that's always just too much. And I know it's not me, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or say that I'm perfect by any means, but I'm pretty. I know that I'm pretty. I have a good body. I'm in shape. I work hard. I have a big heart. I'm feminine. I believe in God. I have good values. And like, that's what men claim that they want, but somehow it's just never enough. I feel like this is a phenomenon specific to Miami because all of my other single girlfriends around my age in their late 20s to mid 30s, they're all having the same issues with the men here. They get their hopes up just to get disappointed. And like I said, I really think this is specific to Miami and what Miami brings out of the men here. Like, I am from North Jersey, like a smaller suburban town in North Jersey, and everybody that I grew up with who's still there, they are either settling down, like even something as simple as like engagement posts, engagement announcements. Like, I see them all the time from people I grew up with and people I know from like North Jersey, New York area. But down here, I never, ever see engagement announcements from people who like met in Miami, dated in Miami. Like, that just doesn't happen here. I feel like that's not how people move here. And I'm just so sick of like playing games and playing hard to get and dating a bunch of people and having a roster. Like, I don't want that. I want genuine, unconditional love. And I just feel like it's nowhere to be found here. I'm just sad.
The downside of living in tourist cities is that your soul becomes a tourist too. Miami is a perfect example. A lot of women, especially those who travel, go there to have fun, and that means that chads are constantly out there charming women. That doesn't mean serious men don't exist. It just means the environment doesn't reward them. In a place built for pleasure, commitment always feels like a loss. That's why you see so much cheating, so many married people acting like they're single. And let's be honest, most young women in the country travel to those cities, just like in LA, which creates massive competition. And I'm pretty sure your standards aren't those of an average man. They're the standards of someone making over $100,000 a year. So your competition is steep. If you're looking for something serious, you might want to change cities because what you're finding there doesn't match your expectations.
Women.
I swear I can't wait to find my husband. I can't wait to find my partner. I just want to find somebody who is as crazy and protective and doting and affectionate and loyal and goofy as me, so we can just spoil each other rotten and enjoy life together. I promise y'all, with everything I have inside of me, when I find my man, I'm never letting him go. I'm going to do anything and everything in my capability to make that man happy. I'm going to show him off. I'm going to scream it from the rooftops. I swear to God, y'all going to be sick of me. Y'all going to be sick of me. That's okay though, because you ain't going to find a me without a him. I'm going to get there. I can feel it. I know it's coming. I know it.
After all this time making these videos, one thing is clear. A lot of women have spent years looking for a husband without understanding why they haven't found one. It's not bad luck. It's consequence. The men are still out there, single, stable, mature. But they no longer want to get involved. Between 30 and 40, a man hits his prime. He has experience, focus, and value. But right when he reaches that stage, the women who used to ignore him show up looking for stability. The problem is that by then, the man has already learned. He knows what his piece is worth. They wore him down with demands, drama, and attitude. And when they finally realize what a man who truly cared for them was worth, he's already on another level.
So I'm from Miami, grew up here, and I'm 5'8", which makes me somewhat a tall girl here in Miami. Most when I wear heels, like 3-4 inches tall heels, usually I'm like, 5'11", 6 feet tall if you do the math. I think I look pretty tall on social media, but nonetheless, whenever I meet a guy, I always tell them, I'm 5'8", right? Like I'm tall. I literally disclose this because it's important to me. So I think it's important to tell the other person your height. And usually men are like, oh no, I'm 5'9", I'm 5'10". And then they show up and they're 2 inches shorter than me while I'm not wearing any heels. How am I 5'8" and you're 5'10", but you're actually 2 inches shorter than me? Somebody's lying here, and it's you. And the worst part is that they get mad if you ghost them and you don't talk to them after the first date. You lied to me. No. Just because you were so charming on the first date is not going to help me forget that you lied to me about your height and you started off this whole getting to know each other with a lie instead of telling me your height. And if I wanted to date a short king, which a lot of girls are okay with dating men shorter than them, I will go on the date with you, but don't lie to me and then show up and be 2-3 inches shorter than me. You're not going to see me again.
Oh, hell no!
Do you see why they end up single? This woman just disqualified millions of men who don't meet her height requirement. She's the typical one chasing the 666 of the apocalypse. 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, and a six-pack. The 666 from hell. The ironic part is she says the first date was great. That's cruel, because she knows she's not going to call him back. She gives him hope, makes him spend money, lives out the fantasy of the date, and then ghosts him. Let me say something to the men. Don't feel insecure about your height. If that's how tall you are, you can't change that. Focus on what you can change. You can find a woman who fits you and loves you for who you are. As for her, the Chads will take care of putting her in her place.
All the girlies in the same boat right now. From my last post about where the girls finding boyfriends nowadays, can we debrief how literally every single girl had the same comment? They're like, I don't know, I'm trying, no luck, blah, 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 blah. Like, why are we all in the same boat? Why are 50% of the comments saying Facebook dating? Are people really using Facebook dating? No thanks, not for me. And then just recently the video started gaining attraction from the men, and they're like, yeah, we can't find girls either. We were told don't talk to the girls, so you have to come up to us first. Like, huh? And I think I should clarify that it's not that I can't find a man. We can't find men, because we can. They're everywhere. It's just we can't find the right men that we are looking for, that we have preference in. So maybe I should rephrase my question into, where are all the good men who have potential at? Where do I find them?
But she's missing the obvious. They're all competing for the same type of man. The top 20%. The ones who make good money, take care of themselves, and have status. But those men know their worth too, and they don't settle. They play with the advantage. The more women focus on them, the more average men get left off the radar. The rest, the stable, hard-working, average guys, don't even exist to them. They can walk by every day and not get noticed because women's attention is locked on the few that everyone wants. Then they complain that there are no good men. No, good men do exist. What's missing are women who are grounded in reality. And the worst part, they hate dating apps because they get exposed to their own mistakes. That's where you see how they choose, and it proves they don't know how. They chase fantasies, reject stability, and when the wall hits, they call it bad luck.
Girls, here are all the men you should be avoiding. Guys who are recently separated, guys who are recently divorced, guys who don't know what they're looking for, guys who are unemployed and have been for a while, guys who have any type of addiction, guys who simply are inconsistent, guys who are polyamorous, guys who mistreat you in any way, guys who emotionally abuse you, guys with anger and communication issues, guys who are way too busy for you, guys who tell you they love you, but do not prove it to you with facts. It's actually that simple. And if you're with a guy like the ones I described, get out. You deserve better.
In short, don't date men, because you just listed every pattern that men naturally show at some point, especially being busy. The only man who's not busy is an unemployed one. And if he's not unemployed, then he's busy out making his money. So, what kind of man do you even want? And by the way, it's not the same thing as cheating. No man wants to date a woman who's freshly separated, let alone divorced. Another thing, this word abuse. It's become a favorite nowadays because apparently everything is abuse. Even when it's just someone not putting up with disrespect, they already call it emotional abuse. These young women have had their brains washed by feminism, but the wall is going to set them straight. Because the wall doesn't forgive.
We need men control. Somebody needs to control men because women are not committing crime at the rates that men are, and men always just want to just brush over this subject. 98% of mass shootings, men. 99% of rapes, men. And 80% of violent crimes are committed by men. And yet when we say this, we're called sexist. This is not sexism. This is just the truth. And if you're not a man that commits violent crimes and you're not a man who supports other men that commit violent crimes, you shouldn't be upset about this statement. You should say, oh wow, those are real statistics. Somebody should probably do something about this. The sad part is, what do you do about it? I don't know what's going on with men and this crisis of what is going on. It's young men, it's old men, it's everybody in between. And of course, there is plenty of men that don't commit violent crimes. But if you are one of those men, what are you doing to hold the men accountable in your life that are? We need to bring back shame, and we need to start shaming these people. Because it's not normal for the men that don't commit crimes and the women to have to live in fear like this of other men who just can't control themselves.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It's true that there's a real problem with violence perpetrated by men, but you're leaving out some important facts that contribute to it. First off, the feminization of men. When you make men emotional, they're more likely to express their frustrations violently, unlike a stoic man. Modern feminist rhetoric paints men as the enemy, especially white men or men who hold traditional values. They're labeled as violent, oppressive, even when they've never raised their voice. The problem isn't masculinity, it's the lack of it. And when an entire generation grows up hating the father, the leader, and the provider, there can't be balance, only chaos. But the most important factor is the absence of fathers. A study conducted across prisons nationwide showed that 57% of inmates came from fatherless homes. So who's choosing to remove fathers from the parenting equation? Who files 80% of divorces in this country? Or 90% when they have higher education? Women. This clearly shows how vital the father figure is, especially for boys, because a father at home rarely allows his son to end up as a criminal.
Men who seek out women for help, like financial assistance, free therapy, resources, have actually been shown in research to be predatory or highly likely that they are a narcissist. The sad truth is women have been conditioned to be so much easier to manipulate into feeling bad, into seeing potential, into being kind and compassionate. And the men know this, especially the draining ones. They know this. They are looking for the givers. They are looking for women whose identity is built off of them being nice. Women who give and give and give and are too afraid to speak up for what they need, don't have healthy boundaries. So if you are dating and the man that you're with has no compunction, he doesn't even hesitate to ask you for money, to ask you for free labor, whatever that may be, that is a major freaking red flag. Run the other way.
Stop it. Get some help.
I just went down the rabbit hole of red pill content, and it's so crazy because the men who watch red pill content, they all have this same outlook where even if abuse is happening in the relationship, usually they're the abusers, right? That you have to stick around and you're taking the easy way out by getting a divorce. The easy way out. That is the easy way out. And, you know, people today, they can't stick it out and be strong and, create a marriage that's strong. They can't get through the tough times. The thing they don't understand is this isn't tough times they're putting us through, a lot of these men. It's straight up abuse, okay? There is a difference between going through hard times in a marriage and going through abuse. There's a difference, but these guys who watch the red pill content, they don't understand that. They look at abuse as just going through hard times. No, you're being abusive. There is a huge difference. They don't get it. They don't get it.
Women have been conditioned to be easily manipulated. If you search manipulation on TikTok, you'll find hundreds of videos of women talking about how to deceive and manipulate men. And let's not even get started on financial support. Nowadays, the first thing most women ask for is that the man has money. So, who's really manipulating who? There's even an article about a woman who ate out for free for an entire year, going on dates with hundreds of men from dating apps. There are women who expect men to pay off their credit card debt, their rent, and buy them gifts when they've barely just met. There are women who keep men around as emotional support in the friend zone. This is exactly why the red pill was created, to wake men up to these manipulations, to help them realize that many women confuse abuse with boundaries, and that men are no longer willing to put up with disrespect disguised as empowerment.
Men do not do things for you because they love you. They do things for you because it is essentially a lubricant to get to the one thing that they want, and it's between your legs. A lot of you guys just don't seem to understand this. The male mind is very much honed in on that one thing. So when they do nice things for you, you're always thinking, oh, it's because he loves me so much. No, he might like you, but it's certainly not love. He does nice things for you. And again, this sounds really like jaded, but it is just actually true, guys. I promise you this is true. They do these nice things for you and take time out of their day because ultimately it leads to the thing that they want. And that is your body. So stop giving it away so easy, okay? You need to be asking these men for things, period. Whether it's favors, whether it's that honey-do list, whether it's money. Guys, I promise you, they're gonna do it. Now here's where some of you guys go wrong. You get into the relationship after pretending to be the chill girl and that you want nothing from them. And then you ask for shit. If that relationship doesn't start out on the premise that this is what it's going to take to get in my pants, and I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3 dates, that's chump change, okay? If it's not like these are the items that you need to check off before there's even a chance, it's not going to happen. If he knows you're a cheap date, he's going to treat you as such, okay? I love you.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And then they say men are the manipulative ones. She's laying out conditions just to sleep with someone. This woman belongs to the streets. And the worst part is she tries to pass herself off as a high-value woman, when in reality, she's just a high-priced one. You can tell she's not interested in the date. What she really wants is to see how much you're willing to spend just to be with her. And that other woman talking about financial assistance. Women like that are a cancer to any man with goals in life. Women like this don't help you grow. They're the ones who think a man should walk into their lives like an ATM without offering anything in return. The women who are truly living well didn't get there through manipulation. They built something. They stood by a man with purpose. They invested in something real. But they won't talk about that because it doesn't sell.
Just a reminder to all the women out there, and as a reminder to myself, honestly, at this point, withholding sex from a man is the most powerful thing you can do as the woman in the situation. You have the power, you have the control, you have the say. I feel like this isn't something that really is talked about enough with how important it is, especially when you're establishing a relationship with someone that you want the control over and the respect. You need to be withholding sex for a long time, as long as you can possibly wait. Because I'm telling y'all right now, no matter how much money the men are spending on you, no matter how many times they tell you they really like you, no matter how much effort they're putting into it, don't confuse their intensity and their passion as emotional availability or emotional stability. Don't confuse all of that shit, even like somewhat love bombing, even if it's not technically love bombing, even if they're doing all these things for you, you rather wait it out, because the reason why they're putting all this effort in, so they can see what they can get out of you. The longer you wait, the more either they're gonna keep doing it or they're gonna reveal their true intentions eventually. And you can usually tell what their true intentions are, even after like a month of withholding sex. You will be able to tell. This is also the best way to avoid being in a situationship and having it be really confusing, more confusing than it needs to be. Because once they have access to your body like that, they will just run with it. They will just feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want. So
Men don't value what comes easy, that's clear. But they also don't respect a woman who plays with other people's time. It's perfectly fine for a woman to save herself, to have self-respect, as long as she's serious about her intentions. But if you're dating multiple men at once, making each of them think they have a chance, just so you can keep getting free dinners, attention, or gifts, you're manipulating them. I've always understood that a woman doesn't owe you anything for a date, but I've seen women who pull this with several men. Chad gets 0 conditions to sleep with her, while the other guys get stuck in the friend zone, and she takes full advantage of everything they give. That's why men need to open their eyes. A woman who genuinely wants something serious won't waste your time. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Who do you think manipulates more, men or women? Why do you think there's so much violence among young men today? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.